this week's video. We're back in the race shop. Last night was race number 2 at Evergreen Speedway, 75 laps on the 3/8. It was Armed Forces Appreciation Night. We were happy to be a part of that. My Army daughter came out and watched me run, so that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, we had some struggles with the new car. You can see it's still in one piece behind me, so that's a plus. We struggled quite a bit with it. We had some rain early in the day that wiped out our first practice session, and then another rain shower right at our second practice session, so we didn't get either one of those in. The Speedway decided to rearrange the schedule real quick, and they gave us one last practice session, one final only practice session right before qualifying. So that was the first time that we'd ever had this car on the track, and we managed to get maybe 4 or 6 laps in it before I had a throttle linkage issue and the car wouldn't go. I couldn't press the pedal down. So we brought it in, and by the time we got that straightened out, the practice session was over. So we had a couple notes, things that we wanted to do. I kind of knew what the car was doing off of those first 4 good laps. So we made some adjustments to it, changed track bar quite a bit, put a bunch more wedge in it, stuff like that, trying to get it to turn a little bit better. It was really super loose all the way around the track. And on a day like that, you're not sure if it's the weather causing the track to be really loose, or if it's the setup causing the car to be really loose, maybe a combination of both. We're not sure, but we knew it was really loose. So we're trying to make a lot of adjustments to try to fix that. Threw a whole bunch of stuff at it right before qualifying. I went out in qualifying and got a good warm-up lap in it. The car was definitely better than what it was in practice, but still really super loose. And then on our first timed lap, the throttle linkage bound up on me again, and I couldn't push gas pedal down again, so I really only got half a lap in. Took it in. You know, I took the white flag on the qualifying lap so that I at least got scored for 1, and then brought it into the pits, tried to work on that again. We knew we were going to start dead last with a lap like that. I think we had 18 cars there last night, and we were starting in the back. So, you know, sometimes you just deal with it. With a brand new car, that's not a bad place to be. So we were okay with it. And again, from the one warm-up lap that I had in qualifying, I knew it was still loose. So we threw another handful of adjustments at it, track bar again, a whole lot of wedge, just trying to tighten the thing up so that it might actually turn, and try to fix that throttle linkage issue, go back out in the main event. Man, things got crazy in the main event. Guys were just amped up. You know, our first race of the season was 2 weeks earlier, and they only had 1 caution flag, and then it ran 55 laps green to the end of the run. I don't know if maybe they just didn't get it out of their system then and carried over to this race, but it was a madhouse out there. We took the green flag, and I think we made 1 lap, and then somebody piled up 3 or 4 cars on the backstretch. So with only 1 lap scored, we had a restart. We took the green flag, and as we were taking the green flag on that one, still with only 1 lap scored, we stacked up 3 or 4 of them on the restart. Threw a yellow again. Try to get them all straightened back out. At that point, I think the pace car had led the most laps. It was getting kind of crazy. I looked up at the scoreboard at one point, and we had only scored 2 laps, and I think I'd been out there for a half hour. It was insane. And then we took the restart on lap 2, completed, this was our, third restart. We completed one lap, and on the next lap, my brother spun around right in front of me. Luckily, I was able to miss him. Had a little hairy moment there. It's kind of interesting when you're looking at your brother's door number sideways in front of you, but luckily he spun on out of the way and we missed that. So another relining, there was 2 or 3 of them that had been caught up in that. So another restart, and I think we completed 1 lap there, and they stacked up 3 or 4 of them again. Reline them again, another restart. I think we were 5 or 6 restarts at this point, and we had only completed 4 laps. It was just crazy. And then, you know, we took the green on the 5th or 6th restart there at lap 4, and we completed a lap, and then I'm coming off of turn 4, and somebody's hood flew up in front of me and landed on the track right in front of me. As we took that, as I come off of that turn, I had some cars coming inside of me, and the throttle linkage freaked out on me again and got all bound up, and I couldn't push the gas pedal down again. So at lap 6, we had to bring her on into the pits once again. Somewhere during that race, I don't know if the rack moved or what, but I know the steering had changed, because the steering wheel, you know, it started out in one point, and then somewhere along the way it had moved about 10 or 15 degrees to the right from where it had been when the wheel was centered, you know. So something in the front suspension had moved, causing the steering wheel to shift. And with the throttle linkage being messed up, you know, the crew, of course, I love them to death. They wanted to fix it real quick and send me back out, but, you know, and they kept saying, well, there's only 6 laps on the board. You can get back out there. It's a 75-lap race. But with something moving in the front suspension, I just wasn't real comfortable continuing on. So I went ahead and called it right there. We parked the car for the night, and, you know, it's still in one piece. We'll figure out what was wrong with the front suspension. Maybe the rack moved, maybe something else shifted, I'm not sure. But we'll take the front end back apart and look at everything and put it back together. And, you know, we got a couple things that we want to fix with the front suspension geometry. I think we missed the mark a little bit with what we were trying to do with this new car. So I think we're going to rethink our game plan there and try to figure out what shifted during the race. We definitely need to go through this throttle linkage situation and get that straightened out so that it'll last more than 4 laps. And just kind of rethink our game plan and go back through the car again. You know, apparently we weren't as prepared as we thought we were, but we still got a car in one piece, which is more than I can say for a lot of those guys. Like I said, 18 cars started that race, and from what I understood, only 10 finished. So and even those 10, half of those were missing half of the car. So it was definitely a madhouse. There was a lot of tore up body panels, stuff flying everywhere, guys spinning out left and right, nobody giving anybody any quarter. It was crazy. Hopefully they got it all out of their system. I know my brother had a rough run. You know, I mentioned that he spun in front of me trying to pass a guy on the outside, and there was a mud puddle in the high groove going into turn 1, and I think he got a little too much in the water up there from the early rain showers earlier in the day, and maybe the car just stepped out on him. And I mean, it was a nice graceful spin, but I'm glad we missed him. He got it gathered back up and continued on, and then you know, 4 or 5 laps after I came in, his engine let go. So it was a rough night for him. It was a rough night for us, but it was a way worse night for a lot of other guys. So I'm happy to still have the car in one piece. We want to thank all of our sponsors for their help. Modane Trucking, Clevenger Associates, RevEquip, Ringers Gloves. We appreciate all their effort. We tried to give it a hell of a run, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And we'll regroup, and we'll put the car back together. Our next race is in 2 weeks on the 24th. We're running the 5/8, and I believe that's the Galloway Memorial. It should be a 150 lap race. So we're looking forward to that on the big track. I'm anxious to get this car straightened back out and put it on the big track and see what it can do. I really prefer the big track at Evergreen. The 3/8 is very technical, it's very tough, and honestly I just haven't figured it out yet. I almost feel lost out there still. So I'm still learning that track. I feel much more comfortable on the big 5/8. I don't know what it is about that track, but it just seems to fit me a little bit better. I had a really good run there at the end of the season last year. We had that 100 lap run with the old car, and we were running really great until the suspension broke at lap 86. So, like I said, I'm a lot more comfortable on that track. I feel like we can do a lot better. We'll get this car straightened out and, just get our heads back together and fix our game plan and come back at it a little bit different. So, we're looking forward to getting back out there on the 5/8 on the 24th. And, one thing I want to say is I want to ask everybody to hit that little share button down there and share this video with everybody on Facebook and Twitter. Get these videos out there, not just my video, but all of the racers' videos. Even if it's not your guy, go ahead and share those videos because it helps the whole sport. So we appreciate that a lot. If you could just go ahead and hit that share button and, post it on your Facebook, Google+, whatever you're using. We'd appreciate that quite a bit. So I want to give a huge thanks to my crew for all their effort. And like I said, a huge thanks to my sponsors for all of their help. And a huge thanks to my dad, who really works his butt off when he really shouldn't be. So, I can't thank everybody enough for their efforts. And we'll see you on the 24th at Evergreen Speedway. Thanks a lot.